Scott Meyer. Not present. Amy Lawson. Not here. Chris McCrite here. Ed Brand here. Dan Hughey
Here.
Megan Britt. Do not believe she's on.
Okay, we do have a quorum. Would everyone please stand and do the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, the first point on the agenda is the approve the meeting agenda.
Motion to approve meeting agenda.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a proper seconded?
I'll second.
I have a motion on the floor. It's been properly seconded. All signify by the usual sign. Aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Next order of business is a consider approval minutes of the joint town council meeting, the RDC meeting on October 7th, 2024. There's a copy in our packet.
I noticed one small thing that I can live with. They misspelled my last name, but that happens often, so there's no need for correction.
Okay, I have a question on the meeting minutes. This meeting minutes that's written here is for two different meetings. I think we could only approve our portion of it because our committee left before the second, before the town business.
Yeah.
Adam, do you have a reply?
I think that's, unless Alex disagrees, I would say that's understood. And so there's a spot where you can sign the minutes, just acknowledging as a body that you've seen these and you approve of them.
Well, it looks like there's a signature from Scott Meyer to sign off on these.
Right.
So that's probably where we're gonna. do
Right.
that. Alex, any additional thoughts from you?
No, I agree with Adam. I mean, in our minutes from tonight, I mean, just stipulate any motion if you make one that you would approve the minutes for the portion that the RDC was participating in that meeting.
Okay. Good catch, Ed.
Okay, do you, I need a motion to approve these minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes of the 10-7 joint meeting of RDC and council. The RDC portion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor. It's been properly seconded that we approve the meeting minutes as written just for the RDC portion of it. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
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 Thanks, Ed.
Yeah,
We needed that.
yeah, motion is approved. Okay, the next order of business is to consider the approval minutes of the November 21st, 2024 regular RDC. And we do not have do we have a copy of that?
Yeah.
I didn't have one in my packet, so.
Here's, do you want to pass that down if
I
you
think
want to
Chris,
see it?
you want to pass down
Yeah.
yours too?
Okay.
I-
If you've looked over it,
Yeah.
I'll consider a motion to approve these.
I think it captured the spirit of the meeting, Ed, so I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the 11/21 meeting.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor to approve the RDC meeting minutes of 11/21. Do I have a second?
I will second that as well.
I have a motion on the floor. It's been properly second. All in favor of the motions signify by usual sign. Aye.
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 Motion approved. Next order of business. Well, there's no old business. New business, the RDC is to consider approval of the Façade Improvement Grant for Harmony Dentistry to be located at the former Grace Baptist Church at the southwest corner of Broadway and Maple. Adam, would you like to start this conversation?
Sure. So for the record, I'm Adam Zaklakowski, the Planning and Building Director for the town of Fortville. I'll pull up the packet here. Bear with me a second. Okay. And Alex, you're seeing the document, right? Okay.
Yes. It's a little small, but
Yeah.
There you go.
we'll zoom. All right, so the item before you tonight is a facade repair request. And the first request is being made by B&B Realty Partners LLC from Westfield. And I'm going to go down to some of these renderings here. So they recently purchased the southwest corner of Broadway and Maple Street. If you're familiar with it, of course, the building has the old Grace Baptist Church out in front, and then in the back is the Fortville Business Center. That's been there for the south part in that use has been there since 2017. And so they purchased that whole building. They also purchased 401 South Merrill, which is the house that's at the southeast corner of Merrill and Broadway. And then they also purchased, an affiliate purchased 411 South Merrill, which is the house that is south of there. And so what they're looking to accomplish is to add a second location of their company called Harmony Dentistry. The primary location is out in Westfield. And as part of it, they would essentially leave the south half alone, where the Fortville Business Center is, and then redo the north half where the church was. So this would all be a remodeling project. And then, and here are some renderings that you see here. This was all in your packet as well. Very nice professional renderings that were put together here. And then there's also a nice concept plan that was done by their engineer. And just for your background, you'll understand this is where the cursor is, this is 401 South Merrill, the old house that was owned by Mr. Mike Cook. And they purchased that. It's zoned commercially, and so they are going to renovate this into an office. The plan is to add parking here, south of that structure. And then this over here is currently a residential home. And the plan is to convert that into an office as well, to renovate it. So an earlier proposal called for demolition of the home so that they could maximize the parking that was in the area. But from a planning perspective, hoping that keeping the house, since it is a historic structure, dates back to 1930, definitely has some good bones to it. It does need quite a bit of work. They're going to have to rezone this lot, and they've launched that part of the process. That went to town council for first reading, and it's going to the plan commission on December 30th for their review of the rezone and also for a public hearing. So that's just some background on what's happening here. And before you tonight is a request for a facade repair, primarily for the building on Maple. And then I think it also includes some repairs to the exterior of 401 South Merrill. So that's that's the background. I would defer to the applicants to maybe provide some more information if they like on their request before you tonight for facade repair
Okay.
funding. So
Who wants to be the spokesman? State your name and your position.
Hi, my name's David Bach. I'm one of the owners of BB Realty Partners.
Okay, I have a question before we get started. Do you own the Fortville Business Center
Yes,
and so you own the whole
the whole
property?
block there.
Okay, okay. And this has all been in front of the planning commission, is what you're doing and everything?
In front of town council that we've
Yeah.
gone through the plans, yes.
Okay, okay.
yeah, it'll go to Plan Commission on December 30th.
Just for the house?
It'll be for, that's a good question. It'll be for the rezone of that house at 411. But
Right.
it also includes this concept site plan, the concept landscaping, and the elevations, the improvements to the building along Maple.
Okay, I've noticed that
Mhm.
you've already started this project. Should they be doing that without it all being approved?
Sure, that's a good question. They did receive a permit for interior demolition to basically gut the interior of the building. And as part of it, although not explicit on the permit, their contractors went out there and started at least removing some of the old siding on the exterior. So to my knowledge, they're not doing any new construction at this point. It's more cleaning up the building that's there. And if there's some exterior work to clean up and remove existing material, I don't see an issue with it.
Okay. Go ahead and continue with your presentation. Thank you.
The plan that we have for the site, just to go through it. The church portion is the part we're renovating, which we will make into a state-of-the-art dental office. The dentist that worked there is my wife as well as Matt's wife.
Oh, that's convenient.
So they specialize a lot with anxious patients. So we're building this facility to NFPA 99 standards, which is the reason we have a generator shown. Basically, what that allows us to do is we can do nitrous sedation in all the operatories that are closed. And then there's 2 surgical suites we're planning in the front, which would actually allow general anesthesia for more intense procedures. So that's the kind of services we're hoping to do there. And we also are trying to have a pediatric dentist there as well. So one portion of that building is dedicated purely for pediatric care.
Okay, now I noticed on this one sheet, there's 3 beds
Yes,
but this open box has already been awarded the bid.
correct. They also had the best pricing in comparison.
Okay. And down at the bottom of this sheet here,
Yes.
what's this all about down at the bottom?
So I tried to break it up between buildings. For right now, we were just looking to do 406. 411 is on the agenda, but for right now, we're asking for funding for 406 and 401 South Merrill. So the way I broke it up, Open Box had the most concrete quote where they actually gave me quotes from their brick demo. The other ones, when I met with them, they didn't actually go out and get bids for brick demo. They just told me I would put 5,000 for this. I would put 10,000 for this. If you'd like, we could use the quotes from the first line item for the other 2, assuming it would be the same cost. I just did that based on my conversations with them. And then the price is broken out by building down on the bottom.
It looks like one of the other quotes from Eads also, in your notes below, it said did not include half of the main roof.
They
It's
yeah.
kind of missing some.
Right, that's why that
in there.
number is a little lower because they didn't
Yeah.
include the whole side of the roof. That goes over
And then
412.
I always get a little hesitant when it's a verbal budget. I'd rather see it in writing and then you got something you can hold them to. So I'm glad to see everything else from your winning bid is in writing and can be enforceable. So,
So, you're asking for some facade money, right?
Yes, that's correct.
I think I ran the quick numbers for the first one, 406 South Maple, it'd be around a little over $67,000 in change for us to cover half of that.
That sounds correct.
And
yeah.
then for 401 South Merrill, about 11,000 and some change
Correct.
for that one. So it's a total of a little over $78,000.
That is correct.
I mean, Chris, I know you're the construction guy. I don't know if you got any additional questions too or not, so.
I did have a couple of questions. Do you have a tenant for 401 South Merrill?
So right now, the second floor, 412, we have a tenant called Freedom Medical. They are interested in signing a lease for that property right now.
Okay,
We do not currently have a tenant interested in 411 right now, just 401.
And 411 is not part of this package anyway.
Correct.
Correct.
Thank you. It looked like a pretty ambitious, I mean, I forget how many rooms you could end up with there. It sounds like you could end up with over, was it 8 or a
Should be
dozen?
12 operatories and one pediatric bench area with 3 additional benches.
I mean, that's a pretty
Yep.
good sized facility. Could attract lots of people to come into Fortville for this. So that's kind of exciting.
So we're also hoping to create about 20 jobs with the facility.
Good.
so the Fortville Business Center part of the building, that's going to remain
That is correct.
leased space?
We're correct. So the first floor is all lease space. What we're looking to do is the second floor will have a door opening to the dental side. That will be the employee break room, since we're going to have such a large staff there. The whole first floor will remain the same tenants that are there currently.
And I'm sorry. And the exterior facade's not changing other than the roof. That's continuous
So
of the back half of the building.
So the roof repair will stop right where the dental office ends. We're not, the roof on towards the business, Fort
That
Wayne
will
Business Center
stay.
is newer and does not need to be replaced.
Okay,
And how big is the current practice in Westfield?
It has 6 operatories and it's breaking at the seams.
So thus the need to expand.
Yes.
And I'm tired of driving to my dentist and Fishers. So that's a big-
Okay, is there any other questions for the contractor?
the existing parking, or the parking, can you bring that slide back up, Adam? I guess I shouldn't say existing, the big parking lot in the middle, I should know this, but I've never driven around that building. Is that parking's existing or proposed?
Proposed, that's a vacant lot right now.
It's currently a vacant lot?
Yes.
Okay,
But that is not included in any of the numbers you put in front of.
No, so this is purely facade repair for the buildings.
I see you have hardy fiber cement going on the dental portion, but vinyl siding going on 401 South Merrill.
That's correct.
Are there any restrictions from the planning commission side that, vinyl siding on a commercial building in town?
Honestly, I'm glad you brought up that point.
I know there are
Until
some
you
nicer
mention it,
vinyls out there.
until you mention it, I hadn't given it a lot of thought. I'll have to look at the ordinance more carefully as it pertains to commercial buildings in the downtown area. So I know, for example, residential houses in Fortville are allowed to have a higher, heavier thickness of vinyl. But I can make note of it, and I'm glad you mentioned that, to see if there's any restrictions one way or the other.
Are you, other than cost, are you opposed to upgrading?
I mean, it'll just raise the cost of the siding replacement. We did get quotes from contractors for it. I don't know if I got it from all 3, but
Significantly more.
I think it was about 6 to 10 grand more.
So I think what I'm hearing is Adam's gonna have to research this for us. If it comes back, or it's gonna be necessary, then you're gonna have to come back with some additional numbers for us for kind of a second round of approval is what I'm hearing, if we're gonna follow this route. Is that fair?
Yeah, and it gets slightly more complicated in that the plan commission in its function as the design review board, does specifically have some latitude, without going through a formal variance process through the BZA. They have some latitude written into the code related to architectural type of standards. So to be honest, I don't know how much latitude they have one way or the other on citing. First, if it's allowed, and then secondly, if it is not allowed, can the plan commission allow it, or does it have to go to BZA? I'm glad you mentioned all that. I'll have to take a look.
And I can propose this as well. If we were to get approved for this, we can cover the upcharge for the hardy plank if necessary.
I appreciate that.
That's fair.
Make it easier on everybody, I think.
Okay. Is there any other questions for them?
I don't think so. I mean, it's something that gets really gonna approve that little corridor, so.
Okay, Adam, now I have some questions for you. This is one of the largest facade facade donations that we've been asked to give. Do we have that kind of money in the line item?
Well,
If I remember right.
yeah, to explain it succinctly. First, your ability to fund this RDC led program is based on the amount of funding that you have in your TIF account at the end of the day. So the line item that you have already allotted for facade repair for the program is just shy of 21,000 of what's available. And that's based on your last pledge back in March of this year. However, in terms of the amount of funds that you have available in 2024 and 2025, even including all of your various commitments that you've made for other non-facade type projects, but other infrastructure projects, you still have about 3.4 million available. So it's a policy decision on your end, is if you wanted to essentially throw more money into the facade repair allocation, you could do that.
Well, I think we've run into this situation on our last project. Didn't we make a motion to move some money?
We did, and that's reflected in these numbers.
Okay, so in order for us to grant the totals that they're asking, we'll have to have a motion to move, say, $100,000 into the facade program
Right.
line item, right?
Right. And then also for your policy decision, you're under no obligation to fund their request at 100% of what they're of the 50%, that the 50% maximum is what you've agreed to do.
Right.
You know, you have complete flexibility in terms of anywhere up to that 50%.
Okay, what's
Actually, one thing that might help in making your judgment is do you know the overall project cost of your whole project between what what you spent on the land and what you're putting into the buildings?
So everything, buildings and all. So the amount that we borrowed to do this is about 2.65 million.
Okay.
And then we still have to, that does not include the dental equipment that has to go into the building.
So what do you think everything would be all in?
Probably around 3 million.
Around 3.
3.1, 3.2.
and do you have any idea of employment, you might,
About 20 people we should
that's
be able.
just for the dental portion.
That's correct.
And then you'd have more from the other.
So that's
businesses.
2 additional businesses that can go there, and you could assume 5 people in each one.
We're looking at a pretty big increase in property tax value and business personal property. Was there any abatement considered here? I just want to make sure no, there was no type of property tax abatement or anything of this transaction, was there?
I don't think so.
Okay, thank you. That's helpful for me to know. So that's a pretty big increase to our.
Yeah, no abatement. And then also, keep in mind that when the TIF was established, this would have been a church property, so not paying any
Yeah.
property taxes.
Yeah. I know it's a little larger than what we normally do, but this is a pretty big project too, so.
Okay, it sounds like to me then, first order of business would someone like to make a motion to move some money into our facade program line item?
Adam, do we know the exact amount or do you just want us to?
Well, you know, there's, what'd you say was in it now, 20?
Yeah, right now, $20,854.
Okay, so we're, if
And change.
the board approves, you're talking 78. So if we just round numbers, put a,
I think another 60,000 would get us to where we need. And that's we might, do we want to put some cushion in there just in case?
I'd put, to me, I'd put 100,000 in there, and then it would give us a little bit for our next
Okay.
facade.
So we don't have to do it again.
Yeah,
That will carry over from year to year.
Yes.
Doesn't change.
Correct.
That doesn't affect anything. Okay.
so do someone want to make a motion?
Would you?
I'll make a motion to move 100,000 into the facade account so we can move forward with this project and potentially additional.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion on the floor to move $100,000 into the facade program line item that's been properly seconded. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now. Okay, we got kind of round numbers of $78,000 for these 2 projects.
Yeah,
Does someone might want to
I'll
make
give you
a,
the exact math here.
okay,
You
Should
want-
have divided those for you.
Say it again.
I should have divided those for you
All
already.
right. Do we want to do it by the 2 properties? Or we want to do it combined, guys?
Adam, how do you think we should do this?
Is the work gonna happen simultaneously?
We actually think we might finish 401 before 406, but we're just waiting on a permit. We're ready to go with plans.
All right, so 401 is,
I'd probably recommend going separately because they're separate buildings. So
Okay,
this way, if one project got delayed for one reason, then while on one hand, I would think we don't want to make it complicated, but on the other hand, just for accountability of the tax dollars and how they're being spent and they're separate projects, I'd suggest separating it, but
okay,
so I've done the math here.
all right.
So for 406 South Maple, it'd be 67,471 and 45 pennies, or do we just want to round it up to 472?
72 sounds good.
And then the second property, 401 South Merrill, will be 11,023. So I think the motion would be to allow for facade reimbursement of 50% of the 134,942.89, which is 67,472. The second would be for $11,023 for the property on 401 South Merrill. And I think, do we need to include in there that if there is a change in the siding from vinyl to hardy, sorry, I'm not as in, but hardy board?
Yep.
That the the real
We'll
estate
cover,
company would
we'll cover
that.
the upcharge for the hardy plank if it's required.
That's a wordy resolution, but
Okay, so you're doing the 406?
Well, I would say if you want to, since you're giving them funds, if you want to require them to pay just keep it simple and say whether or not it's required, that's what we'll fund. So we'll fund this contingent upon you doing the hardy plank and you pay the upcharge.
so let me rephrase it then. Motion to approve 67,472 as of the RDC's portion of the facade for 406 South Maple, and motion to approve 11,023 for 401 South Merrill.
Okay, we have two motions on the floor. We have a motion to approve 67,472 for 406 South Maple of the RDC facade funds. And in that motion, we also have a secondary motion for 401 South Merrill of 11,023.
Need a second for that?
I don't need a second.
I will second both of those motions.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor that's been properly seconded. All in favor of the motion signify the usual sign.
Aye.
Aye. Approved. Good luck to you.
Thank you all.
And just for clarity, is that hardy plank required or not? Not required. Okay. Gotcha.
He's going to,
He's capped.
yeah, he's working with whoever, and if it has to be changed, it'll be changed at his cost.
But as part of your motion, it's not required.
No,
No,
Okay,
didn't
gotcha,
think it was
Right,
necessary based
right.
on what you said, Adam.
gotcha.
right.
Thank you all.
Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Okay. Next order of business is review of financials.
But we've got our property tax distribution from auditor's office.
Yes.
It's good news. Is that
And,
normally when we get it this early?
Get the distribution in two chunks. One is in June and then one is in December. And the second disbursement in December is usually a little bit lower. However, in this case, it was still higher than anticipated.
Pretty fortunate because a lot of county auditors will hold on to that money until the last second. So glad to see they're forwarding it on to us, as early as they did.
Okay, like to have a motion to approve the financials.
Motion to approve the financials.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Have a motion on the floor and properly second to approve the financials. All in favor of the motion of to the usual sign?
Aye.
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 Motion approved. Okay, we got two I think there's two invoices in your packet for Krohn and Associate and Bose and McKinney. Need a motion to approve those invoices.
Yeah,
Okay.
I realize a lot of this was for the TIF transaction. It didn't happen, but I think it lays the groundwork for
Yeah.
future ones. So I'm still having to invest in this. So motion to approve the invoices for Krohn and Associates and Bose, McKinney and Evans.
Have a second?
I'll second.
Have a motion on the floor that's been properly seconded that we approve the invoices for Krohn Associate, Boys, McKinney and Evans LLP. Favor of the motion signify the use sign.
Aye.
Aye.
Any public comment? Staff comment?
Yes. Just got something. Hold on one second. We're gonna close that out. Okay. So one item that the town manager Joe Renner wanted me to bring to your attention or consideration is we want to talk about demolition of the town-owned homes out here on Broadway in preparation for South Madison Boulevard. So as you know, the town acquired some properties along Broadway, right at the intersection. Even though they are of a historic nature, somewhat, and it would be great if they could be saved, but unfortunately, the road is going to go right through there. So there's really no option. So what Joe was mentioning is if the RDC wanted to consider funding a town-led demolition of those houses just to basically clear the area. The benefit to doing that is we would get a head start in getting some of that work that's going to have to be done at some point anyway. And also it'll be easier for maintenance of our parks crew just to get out there and cut the grass rather than having to also account for houses that are there.
Joe, do you have any estimate of what the cost will be for the RDC?
I really don't have a good idea on the number, but I'm thinking roughly 15,000. I did call to get a price on an excavator with a thumb. And then we've been calling and getting prices on dumpsters. Don't know how many dumpsters we're gonna need and then how much masonry and all that, you know, they want to add per ton. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. And one of the other reasons why I'm thinking about go ahead and taking them down. One, the town has got an ordinance about having plywood over windows for so long.
Right.
Those houses over have got busted out windows or plywooded up, they're all boarded up and, you know, we're kind of in violation of our own policy. So it'd be good to clean them up, get rid of all the rodents and the critters and stuff are running in there. And the other thing is, as you know, the Merchot property behind there is now for sale. It's got the sign out front. And I kind of feel like if those 3 homes are gone and that sign looks like it's opened up to that field, that might be a little more inviting to a developer, somebody that might be considering moving out this direction.
So when you said it's town-led demolition, you're saying that the town employees will be out there
Yeah. I'll be.
removing you, yeah. I do agree that would probably make that area look more attractive,
Mhm.
at that intersection. Be a selling point for some developers, so.
And again, I hate to put a number on it exactly, but just run some rough numbers. I'm figuring 15 grand is going to be a close ballpark number.
So you need action from us tonight or at a later date?
I don't want to start spending money until you give me the
All
okay.
right, okay.
I guess the alternative is to throw that on the developer.
Right.
But as of now, there's not a developer,
Right.
so.
Well, and keep in mind too, the last time we had a developer to do it, we were obligating an $8 million bond. And they were going to use still our funds to do that anyway. So,
Right.
Tend to agree with Chris. I mean, you're right, the windows are cracked. You've got Lord knows what running around in there. I think it does just for the good of the town need to come down.
So, Adam, we need a motion of a dollar amount to have him go forward.
Yes.
Is there anything valuable in the houses?
I mean, you'd be welcome to come over and take a look. I didn't find anything. In fact,
Not scary.
some of those houses without some sort of a mask or something on, because
My
They're pretty rough.
suggestion is to give him a $20,000. Okay,
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I should get it.
okay, I need a motion to approve this.
Motion to approve $20,000 for the town. Give me the right words, Joe. Demolition of
Town-led demolition of the 3 properties that,
the 3 properties on Broadway,
actually 2 of them are considered High Street, but
Okay.
they're all,
Broadway and or High Street.
yeah, okay.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor. I need a second.
I'll second.
All in favor of the motion, or there's been a motion on the floor that's been properly seconded to authorize town employees $20,000 for demolition of properties on,
High and Broadway.
High and Broadway.
Mhm.
Okay, got a motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved.
Have fun.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Let me know when you're doing it. My grandson may want to watch.
Don't buy any equipment.
No more bucket trucks. Yeah.
Okay, moving on, board comments.
Thank you guys for showing up.
No, sir.
Adam, you have anything else?
No, sir.
Alex, you have anything?
I don't. Happy holidays, everybody.
Well, thank you. Thank
Yes.
you. I'd accept the motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
At 7:11.
Motion has been
I'll
made
second.
to adjourn. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, guys. Take care.